Call to order the meeting of the Park City Board of Education, and we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The board will now adjourn to closed session for the purpose of a strategy session to discuss pending or reasonably imminent litigation and to discuss the character, professional competence, or physical or mental health of an individual or person.
Make a motion to move closed for business sector.
One second. All in favor?
Aye.
Vote. Meredith, yes.
Thank you.
Eileen, yes. Yeah, it's roll call.
Yeah.
Yes.
Susan, yes.
we will continue on with our regular agenda, and we are going to start with the recognition for Deer Valley in support of our graduation.
If I can get Trevor Peterson, Trevor Hartshorn, and Mark Chitka. Chitka. I'm gonna blame it on Colton. I said, how do you pronounce this?
They've been messing up and stuff my whole life.
We just want to thank you guys for being tremendous community partners and hosting our class of 2026 graduation. We could not have done it without the partnership, and I recognize Catherine has moved on, but she was instrumental in helping us pull this off. So this is a gift for you, as a token of gratitude.
Cool. Thank you so much.
It's not much of it.
Only one today. You over just one button say. One, two, three.
And we recognize the silver lining of a mild winter allowed this to happen. So I don't anticipate it happening again.
Hopefully not.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
What a great spot for that. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
And then Lexi. Oh, there you are. Hey, sorry, I thought we'd go ahead and have you after that.
Thank you. President Reed, members of the board, Superintendent Huntsman. I am Lexi Cunningham. I'm the Executive Director of the Utah School Superintendents Association. So first of all, I bring greetings from our officers in our association. And we want to thank you for your hard work and dedication. Things like what you just recognized don't happen unless a board is willing to take those chances and explore those opportunities so that students can have great experiences. At our summer conference every year, we recognize our superintendents. We have a recognition for first-year superintendents as well as other longevity. And at this summer's conference, we were not able to recognize Superintendent Huntsman because she was not able to be at our dinner. I think she might have had a board meeting. I'm not 100% sure. But we do a challenge coin for our first year superintendents to welcome them to our association, to let them know how much we appreciate them. And we really do appreciate Superintendent Huntsman. She has joined our association. She has just gotten to know everybody. She's willing to help. She's willing to participate. If somebody needs anything, she'd ask, what can I do? She's always willing to share the great things that are going on up here in Park City and have others learn from her. So we are just so thankful that she is part of our association. I know that she's 1.5 years in now, but we did want to give her USSA year 1 challenge coin. And we wanted you to know how much we appreciate having her in our association.
Well, and we are absolutely thrilled to have Superintendent Huntsman as well. Thank you for coming up here, Lexi.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Okay, our annual Title IX.
Oh, construction first.
Oh, wait.
You can roll.
Oh, sorry. Yes. Sorry, Jay. Stand by. JD, please join us.
Let's see, we'll start at Treasure Mount. That the first slide. Okay. Right now, the batting cages installation, turf and netting are going up. I don't know how much you guys can see from here or how much you get to see, but that's ongoing right now. Landscape's going on the backside of the baseball and softball fields. The parking lot has been paved. Partially striped, but not completely striped. We're still gonna get the bus lane arrows in and some other stuff over there, but that's happening this week as well. And then, they're also doing the landscape in the parking lot and the planters and all the islands there and everything that's going on. As far as irrigation goes and that kind of stuff that goes with the landscape there. The trail has been paved all the way from the tunnel, all the way over the DO. I walked over here from there tonight. That's how I got here. So that's pretty nice. The team rooms are just finished being painted. All of the soffit fascia on there. That's the support building down. There's the team rooms for the softball and baseball. That's done. The concessions building, they're doing all the finishing touches in there, all the tiles going in, all the ceilings are getting done, all the fixtures are being put on. The turf on the baseball field is done. They are gonna be doing infill for the next 2 days, which is all the sand and the rubber and everything else, but they're to home plate. And I left there, I don't know, 4, but they should have had the rest of it. They had it down, they were just cutting the other pieces in, so. Their plan is to move to the south soccer field on Monday. The north soccer field has to remain open right now because where those 2 press boxes are in the bleachers in the middle, in the center. There's a press box that goes there and the footing has to be poured for it. So, the south is the one that's ready right now, so that's why they're gonna move there. They do tell me that those go pretty fast because they're basically a box, right? They roll them out where they have a little bit more to deal with in the other fields, so. So they'll move there. They said the turf will go down fast, then they've got another week or 2, cutting everything in and doing all that stuff. So within 2 weeks, I would say we'd probably see both of those fields. It was the south one for sure done. North one's gonna take a little bit longer because of the pad, but that should go fairly quick too. So. The support building is in rough-in, so we've got the roof on it. All the mechanical equipment's up there. They're inside plumbing, everything, putting in the HVAC and everything else. And then the big stuff is the site concrete. I'd say we're about 90% done with the site concrete. Mostly what's the plaza's done. There's a couple tie-in spots around the baseball field, and then on the far north end of the baseball field. And then what's lacking right now is the tennis courts, right? We have a lot of stuff stored over where the tennis courts go. But within the next week, probably next week, you'll start to see all that move. Our last soils pile we have over there is actually going into the tennis courts. That's been tested, and then that's getting graded out there where the tennis courts are. All the site lighting's up. They're doing the parking lot this week. They're setting the poles in the parking lot. Let's see, what else did I have there? The utilities are all in except for the power. So we have the gas, the sewer, the water in. The power is going in Saturday. I don't know, you guys are, this is, Rocky Mountain Power will notify you guys, but the power will be out here Saturday. So why they're doing this, right? So on campus, from all the way over to McPullen, it'll all be out. So they said they'll be done by the end of the day, so. But that'll be power, and they should be sending you guys a notice, so, so I told Joe, so he knows, IT's aware of that, so. And that's really kind of it over there at, Treasure. They're still tracking for the end of October. The tennis court guys are ready to go to work. They just need that graded out, so. Should be a delay with getting the tennis courts in. The time will be in the carrying of the concrete, right, and then the coating. So that'll probably be the last thing done that you'll see down over there, but I would say overall, probably about 85% there without the turf on the 2 soccer fields, but all of it's there. We do still have some other stuff coming, sure.
If we have snow, keeping our fingers crossed before October, how will that delay this?
Yeah, it
Or
didn't.
will it?
It shouldn't delay too much, especially the concrete. I mean, they can blanket the concrete and stuff like that if they have to, but it'd have to be sustaining like freezing temperatures, you know what I mean? We could weather a storm or 2. Clearly, we have with these rainstorms as well too. That's been causing us a little bit of grief on some of the finish of the track and the finish on the bleachers. But if you wait 15 minutes, they tend to blow over, but they do cause a little bit of problem, but I think we'll be fine. So I would anticipate by the middle of September, most of the turf would be down. So it would just be the concrete at that point. So
Power, you said will be out, that's just not neighborhoods.
no neighborhoods, just the campus from the DO to probably the other side of McPullen. I don't think it'll affect the high school at all. but it'd be the learning center as well. That'll all be out until they get it in, so.
How confident are we that it won't impact the high school?
I checked with them today before I came over here and they said no at the high school, so it's all on a different, it's
So
separate,
tell
right?
them just to plan to not have power on
Yeah,
Saturday.
exactly.
Is it gonna be the whole day?
Yes, yes. When we built McCollum, we upgraded the power there. If we'd have known we were doing this, we could have done all that at the same time, but we didn't, right? So they have to upgrade all of that power, so. It's, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, it's kind of interesting because everything's LED over there, right? And even these big, the tall site lights don't draw that much power. I asked them that, but they're taking the chance. I don't know if you know, when we hit the transformer there, that's in the first corner there, where you turn into the parking lot. That has to be moved as well. And then the one that's in front of McCollum has to be redone because it's so old. And so they're taking the time to kind of upgrade their little stuff while they're doing it, so.
My quick question is just about the berm that kind of runs along.
Yes, about the shape of it.
Yes, right here, right.
Yes.
There on the.
They're gonna cut a saddle in that
Okay.
as they're doing it. So we keep having weekly inspections from DEQ and despite my differing of opinions that we need to cover everything, that it's been tested and it's passed its tests, we still have to maintain the cover on that. So it's difficult unless you're gonna do it all in one shot, to kind of shape it and then cover it and everything else. And the landscapers are working their way that way. So I would say 2 weeks, you might start to see that saddle cut in there and we're gonna kind of bowl it out at the bottom. So we have more snow, put places to push some.
And will it be sodded then?
It gets sodded, yes, yeah, and there'll be a few trees and some plants along the back there, but they're going hot and heavy on the irrigation now, and then they'll start spreading that topsoil, so. They're trying to play catch up in the parking lot too, like I said, getting all the planters in there because they don't want to box themselves out, so. That's pretty much it for Treasure, so I don't have much more there, they're still, like I said, they're still tracking end of October. I do think that the tennis courts will bleed into November, depending on how quickly they get them poured and how quickly they cure up and then the coating, obviously. Dozier is in great shape. The entrance gateway buildings on the east side there are all completed. Pile's done, partitions are in, power's on, everything's done there. The steel for the canopy is on site. It got there this morning, so they're gonna try to start erecting the columns and getting part of that partially in place, this week, and then next week. The visitors bleachers are coming this week, so you'll start seeing that. They are coating the track. They've got the first coat on, and they're doing it in sections, which I don't understand, but that's their deal. But if you ever go over there, you'll see that first coat on there, it's kind of black. I think I have some pictures, here that kind of. Oops. There's the baseball field. So, and that was from yesterday, not today, so that they've got, they're past home plate now into the back, so. And then that's the soccer fields, they're just finishing the fine grading on those, so they're ready to go. And then that's them coating the track. And then go to the please. So they also, this is from yesterday, but they now have set the upper section of precast. So that's something this isn't current to what's happened today, but where that steel comes up, so there's another level of seating that goes up. And then you have the press box there in the middle. I know it's kind of hard to understand or see that picture there, but they're setting all of that upper precast this week. And then they put the stairs in too. So all that's going, and they're coating on the north side of the bleachers, that side's done. So, he's working his way across that lower section of seating, then he'll move up to the upper section of seating. He's affected by the rain a lot, right? So, like he pulled off a little bit this afternoon because of the rain, and it affects the track, and those guys pulled off for a little while too, but. When they're putting stuff down, if it's a little bit tacky, they're okay, but if they're just started, then they gotta stop, but. I think we'll work our way through that, so, but the ramp on the south end is done up to the bleachers. They got a little section there to do, the planters in the back are done, all the garden level bathrooms, that building's all done in the back, they'll put the roof on that next week. The concessions, the flex space on the north and south sides of the stadium on the second level Those are all framed in, they're putting the finishes in there now, they're gonna start some of the drywall in there. They're just finishing up that MEP in there. Inside the bleachers themselves, is all of the mechanical and electrical and all the roughing going inside there. It's quite a space in there and there's a lot going on inside there. You don't see them obviously because they're inside there, but that's ongoing. All of the utilities here are done as well, except on this west side. The gas is at the property line. If you remember, we were gonna take it out of Lucky Jump, but we're not. So they won't connect onto it until the bleachers are close to being done because they don't want their meter getting hit and having problems. So that'll have to wait a little bit. And then we're making the final water connection that's on that north end. Again, that was coming out of Lucky John. They hot tapped it today and that's coming across that north end, from, west to east, so, or from east to west, so they started that today, that ends the utilities there. We have power, on at everything and even at the home bleachers. So they partially built the electrical room up there on the second level. This is in for the game, right? So we have lights, everything else. They'll be going through the scoreboard and the upgraded sound system this week as well, and the next week, giving that a couple trial runs. So you may hear some loud music coming from over there, but that's ongoing. A lot of this stuff is in preparation. They're pouring the rest of the concrete up against the track there on the east side or of that entrance. The entrance way is done going into the through the canopy into the field now. There's a couple seat walls in there. They'll get those columns up and then pour the rest of that around the columns, but they poured along all those buildings today and down to the visitors bleachers pad. So, Dozier's in pretty good shape. So I don't believe the upper section of the home bleachers would be available for the game, but the lower section will be available. So. And they're tracking end of October as well. So,
Obviously at this point, timeline has become an issue.
yes.
You said October for both of them. But that's 3 months behind where it should have been. What are our risks in hitting October?
The weather's obviously the big one, right? If we don't get lucky and have a weird or whichever way you prefer to look at that, but if we have winter, you guys know as well as I do, it can snow in September, October, November, right? So that's probably the biggest thing I would say is the weather, right? Getting all the things done that need to happen before it starts to sustain cold temperatures, right? So I don't see how they wouldn't have the track done. They've really put an effort in on getting that coated. Once that first coat starts, it's just, I mean, they really are making pretty good progress on that. Same with the bleachers, other than he's a little more sensitive to the rain, so, but I can't see where they wouldn't be done with those out of most of the weather window anyways, so. That's probably the biggest thing, so.
I can tell JD's pushing him, I mean, not to get in his personal life, but he had to vacate from his home during a fire. Went back in, I'll tell you, he didn't miss a beat. He was here every day, he was working on it every day. We thought he'd be gone for 4 or 5 days, and maybe now he wishes he would have been, but. He's stayed on top of things.
Well, there was my marriage and then there was this. I chose.
Light isn't on JD.
My wife's dog doesn't like me, so being pulled up with a dog for 5 days is not, no, it was a challenge, I will tell you that, but it was disruptive is what it was most. It's over. So,
What about schools for having to move?
what's that?
Was your house okay?
Yeah, it's probably about 1.5 miles. I showed Colton some pictures earlier, you know, the hill, I live on West Hennifer Road, so the hill right behind me is what was on fire, and. Because it's so steep, I can only see kind of out of my driveway. In fact, I sent Randy a picture that the other day, and I don't think I sent it to you, but all I could see was what was directly behind me, and so it was just all the smoke, and I thought, you know, it looked right, it was right on top of me, right? But then you drive down the road and it's quite a ways away, but it's just enough to, you know, it scares everybody in the family and all that stuff, so it's just a challenge, so.
I think our biggest impact to answer your question is football. Girls soccer is playing out at Quinn's
Oh, yeah.
currently. So football has had the biggest impact with the delay.
So you referenced seating where, I mean, are we?
Yeah, I think, the plan is to have the September 11th game there, the seating will be there, I don't know, you may be sitting on the bleacher portion of it, not the aluminum portion of it, which is fine. They're gonna try to get over there, but the coating has to go down first before the bleachers can go down, and we had a little bit of a change there, just so that you know, we beefed up the waterproofing of that, so all of your rooms are underneath that, right? Your team rooms, all your meeting rooms, the bathrooms and everything. And so it had kind of had a subroof system before that was gonna catch that if there was anything coming through, and we decided to beef that up so we didn't have that subroof and all that structure underneath it. And so that's the coating, right? And that's what's taking a little bit of time. That goes down and then they put the aluminum bleachers on top of that. So you'd be sitting on the concrete most likely, but the visitor bleachers would be in. The power was the big one, you'd have powered all the lights and the sound system and everything else. And then I think we've worked out, the media press stuff and the play calling and all that stuff, so I think we're pretty solid for
So
the
what date were we playing?
9/11.
September.
September 11th.
September 11th.
So this Friday, we're playing at South Summit High School neutral site. We were playing against Morgan High School, and then the next home game is scheduled for September 11th.
So some just kind of been listed out.
Yes. Yes.
Because we would you never find that?
Yes. They'll need a favor in the future.
Happy to help our neighbors.
And any other sports that could be impacted? It just girls soccer and football.
I will say the football field's usable, right?
Yeah,
So
they're
they've been
practicing.
practicing on the football field. The flag team the girls were playing there. I think the lacrosse guys practiced a couple times and the teams practiced a couple times, but the field's available. So it's just a matter of
So the
having
field will
it.
roll back around the edges.
Oh, yeah, that's all tacked back, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So the only two really in season, lacrosse is not in season for ice activities, the only two in season is football and girls soccer.
Yeah, but it is usable.
That's outdoors.
What was the other one?
I believe one of our tennis
Tennis
teams
football.
is in season.
So they're just still using the mark.
But that parking lot will be done too?
The parking's already done in front of the buildings. It's already paved.
There's a lot of porta potties over there and things like that.
So we had to, so the contractor staged in the parking lot on that far side there, you seen his trailer there along the bus stop and everything
Yeah.
there. We moved him back over in front of those buildings. And then he's actually staged in his office in the storage building to the north.
Okay.
They're all finished and we put the fence back up to where it was where the original bus lane was. But everything from the fence over is paved and all the concrete stuff.
So the parking lot is available.
Once they move out of there, they're using it for contractor parking and in front of the buildings there where it's fenced off, but the other parking lots, yeah, they're using that, so. Yeah, all those stalls are paved. There's not that many stalls in front of there. Most of them are handicap stalls in front of those east buildings. This is just graphic, right? It doesn't show everything, but it's an easy one for me to use to explain things. But yeah, there's probably, I don't know, I'm gonna say 10 stalls in front of there that are mostly handicapped, but that apron ties into that parking lot, right? And that's all paved. So, and then all the concrete around between the high school and the field, that's all done as well. We do have the north end tore up for the water line right now, but everything else is done in there. All the planters, everything else.
Great, thank you.
Thanks, Judy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure. But I don't.
I haven't gotten it. Does anyone here from public comment?
Can you fill out a brief form? So we're gonna do public comment now and then we'll come back here.
You guys are welcome to give comment and fill the form out after. Okay. If you want.
Sure.
What's your preference?
So I will, while you're doing that, I'm just gonna go over the ground rules again to remind everybody, so that the Board of Education wants to hear input from our community members at our meetings in order to respect and preserve the time allotted to each presenter on the agenda. Each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes. Speakers representing a group will be limited to 5 minutes.
Will you start?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't close up.
That's a good.
Okay. Good evening, my name is Phoebe Byers. I want to share some thoughts on open space and why it belongs in front of a school board. Open space is scenery, but also infrastructure. It is where neighbors meet, where families spend their weekends, and where children learn to be outside on their own. For children, the effect is measurable. 2 studies in the proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences make the point. The first tracked primary school children over a full year and found that greater exposure to green space was associated with gains in working memory and reductions in inattentiveness. I see this in my own children, and I suspect most parents in this room do too. The second followed more than 900,000 people and found that children who grew up with the least green space around them carried up to a 55% higher risk of developing a psychiatric disorder later in life. The health picture is simpler than the research makes it sound. Children who live near open land move more, spend more time outside, and encounter wildlife as an ordinary part of growing up. That land is also somebody's home. Children who grow up alongside elk, deer, and moose learn something a classroom cannot teach them, which is that they live inside a web of life rather than above it. A developed site can be made green again. It cannot be made wild again. Importantly, this research was not measuring how much open space existed somewhere in the region. It looked at the nature children encountered around their homes, their schools, and their daily lives. That matters here. Summit County has an abundance of open space, and it is here because residents value it and have worked for years to protect it. That is not a reason to assume we can afford to lose some. It is a reason to recognize what that work built. Communities rarely lose open space all at once. They lose it one reasonable sounding parcel at a time, with each individual decision defensible on its own. Some of the land this district owns sits right at the edge of that landscape, where the trails meet the neighborhoods. Students, teachers, and families run, bike, ski, and walk there. They reach it on foot without getting into a car. Most decisions like this one arrive too late. This one has not. The land is undeveloped, and almost 1,100 residents, nearly 96% of them in Summit County, have already asked that it stay that way. Preservation belongs on the table alongside every other option. Show the community the district's other land holdings, ask whether a site is right before entertaining work can be built on it. Round Valley was once slated to become a 690-acre golf course community with a commercial center, a boutique hotel, and 600 homes. It is open today because an earlier generation had the foresight to protect it before it was too late. The 55 acres this district owns at the Highland Drive trailhead sits at its edge, gave that decision the same care. Thank you.
You don't have to stay with me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have someone else? Last call for public comment. Okay. All right, going back to our regular agenda items now, Michael's gonna write that. We're coming to get us our file Title IX. And Jamie.
It's actually Jake, sorry, we're sitting in for Jake.
Sorry. Jake. You're not Jamie.
Hi, well, good afternoon, President Reed and members of the board. My name is Mike Santa Rosa. I'm the Title IX coordinator here at Park City School District. With me today, I have Mr. David Fiesler, who is our current assistant athletic director over at the high school. Mr. Sheets, our athletic director, is actually finishing up a walk throughout South Summit to help host our first home game against a Morgan. Otherwise, he'd be here. So he sent me instead. I'm here today because of Utah Law 53G-6-101 entitled Report Action Plan, which was a law enacted in Utah 3 years ago that requires at the beginning of each academic year, the athletic director or another administrator of each school shall report to our local school governing board a number of things. And they're listed here on our report. Typically, specifically, the number and type of interscholastic sports available at our school, categorized by gender designation, the number of students competing in a gender designated interscholastic sport at the school, also categorized by gender, the amount of spending that the school devotes to each gender designated interscholastic sport at the school, categorized by gender, a comparison and evaluation of our designated practice and game locations for each of the gender designated interscholastic sports, and any information regarding the school's efforts in compliance with Title 63G, Chapter 31, Part 2, distinctions on the basis of sex, which is codified as Title IX. And if there's any discrepancy between the male designated and female designated sports of 10% or greater, an action plan that the school develops to address the discrepancy. Well, much similar to last year, these numbers are consistent with last year's data and proportions. To note, our coaches' pay was increased over these past 2 years. We did have some coaching positions that weren't filled completely, but as you know, Park City can be a difficult place to find coaches from time to time. And please note that our male and female teams have the same number of coaching positions for each sport. As mentioned earlier, you can see the progress here for our softball and baseball facilities. This will provide more opportunities for our home games and practices with less travel time for our student athletes. To note also, women's flag football was added at the high school this last year, but it's a club level sport and not part of this reporting requirement. Also, esports was added as a co-ed offering as well. Sports have been also offered at Ecker Hill Middle School starting last year to include basketball and handball, and cross country and soccer will be added this particular school year. So our discrepancy between male designated sports is at 47.6% and female designated at 52.4% sports currently shows that we have just a 4.8% in favor of female sports here at Park City School District. Any questions?
Yes, actually, can we scroll back up? Because one, girls wrestling.
Yes.
12, over 12,000 per student, how much is that distorting our numbers?
Probably a lot. It's my understanding we just had one girl wrestler athlete last year, but the program exists and it's there and is available.
I guess what I'm asking is if we take that out,
Yes,
what does that 4 point whatever it is look like?
you know, we didn't crunch those numbers just because we crunched with our one athlete in that category. So I can go back with Mr. Sheets and take a look at that. But the program exists. It's there. It's available for athletes.
I'm not saying the program shouldn't
Sure.
be there, if that just jumps out, I want to make sure that's not distorting our overall number.
Sure. Mr. Fuse, is there anything to add?
Nothing. Girls wrestling is growing. Trips, coach, amazing, recruiting nonstop for the girls.
Good job.
All right, yeah. Yeah, hope to see you all next year. Wishing the Miners another successful year and accurate up and coming, you know, getting more students interested in participating in middle school to get them to participate at the high school level. So thank you all for your time.
Thank you.
All right, next up, we got Ingrid.
Hey everyone, good to see you.
You should make a little that you have to bring the thing.
Well, heading to Jeremy to pick up the other. Thank you all for having me this afternoon. I was supposed to be here in June. I did not have a fire, but we had a flood, and so that's why I was not here. Also needed to be vacated. A lot of house vacations this year, not good ones. Really appreciate our partnership and just wanted to report to you all on our work from last school year and a little bit about the work that we'll be doing this year. I think most of you know who we are, but just for those who don't, we're an independent nonprofit organization. We exist to fund and support educator-powered initiatives that inspire all Park City students to reach their academic and lifelong potential. And on an exciting note, we've been doing this work for 40 years. This is our 40th anniversary as an organization. We were founded back in 1986 by a group of parents and educators who wanted to infuse incredible funds into our schools. And so we're excited to celebrate that milestone this year. During our last strategic planning process back in 2024-2025 school year, we refined our funding priorities to 4 areas that, if you notice, closely align with the school district's priorities and portrait of a graduate. These are our 4 current funding priorities. So closing the opportunity gap, elevating educators, personalized learning, and real world learning. And so every program that we fund needs to support at least one or more of these focus areas. And we'll talk a little bit more about the specific programs in a couple minutes. We make our funds, how we fund is through grants, and we have 4 different categories of grants. So express classroom grants, innovation grants, and sustaining grants. So our express classroom grants and our classroom grants go directly to support classroom teachers, and those vary in size. So our express classroom grants are up to $2,000 per award, and teachers can start asking for those funds from the very first day they're back on contract all the way to the end of the school year. Our classroom grants are a little bit larger in size, but we have those on an annual basis. So teachers request those funds in the spring for funding the following school year. That is an amazing process. Lindsay used to spearhead as a classroom grant chair, and it's all educators and students who sit on that committee and make the decisions about where funding gets awarded. And then our innovation grants and sustaining grants are available at a school level or a district level for larger scale programs. Innovation grants are new for us. This also came out of our strategic planning process. We saw a need to be more flexible and responsive to larger scale requests from the district. And so we have allocated this year $225,000 to award throughout the year as requests come in. Our board will be considering the first request this Thursday at our first board meeting of the year. And then sustaining grants are multi-year. So we have a lot of, programs that we've been funding for a number of years that are, I would say, integral to the work that's going on in the school district and work that we care about as an organization. And so we award these on a recurring basis. This is an example of this is the after-school program we support in a meaningful way. Okay. So going back to kind of our 4 areas and where programs that we fund fit into each one, I wanted to call out a couple of ones in bold. It's a little hard to bold, but that are either new or evolved this year. We're starting an educator task force, and this is a group of about 12 teachers from every school represented that will, infuse educator voice into the work we do. We have a hard time having educators in our board, given when we meet, it's during the school day, we don't want to take teachers out of classes, and we still need a lot of their feedback on what we're doing and how to improve. Personalized learning, so this year we're supporting with the elementary LCSW position, so that every elementary school has its own LCSW, and the district is also supporting that, so thank you, that's incredibly important. The freshman success coordinator is a new role this year that's supporting with that transition from 8th grade to 9th grade, which we know is a tricky one for our students. And then we've been funding the elementary visual arts program for a really long time. And this year, for the first time, the district's taking that kind of over and integrating that into the academic day in a more meaningful way than we've been able to do in the past. And we're really excited about that. That change and that integration into the academics at every elementary school, which is also a shift. This is going to be at every single elementary school for the first time. So excited for that change. Oh no, I don't know what happened to this slide. Last year we invested $1.8 million into the district. I'm not sure what that is. We also supported our PTOs, PTAs through $41,000 that went back to the schools through different awards and fundraisers and their support there. So appreciate that partnership very much with our PTOs. And then this year, as we think about, last year, as we think about where we supported early and out of school learning opportunities. So a significant amount of our support goes to support preschool as well as the after school program. Really thrilled to see the expansion of both programs by offering full day to both 3 and 4-year-olds, and then the after school program for preschoolers. I think that really supported the enrollment expansion that we saw. And it's exciting to see how many students, 288 enrolled for preschool, 600 for after school last year, which was I think the largest class of students that have served in the after school program. Last year was also the first year of our expanded Bright Futures program within the high school. So we fully funded a position, the Bright Futures counselor position, which embedded that first generation support directly into the counseling team at the high school. And it also expanded access to every first gen student starting in freshman year. So we really saw kind of the power of the partnership and the belief in every student's potential in this expansion. The first gen students within this most recent senior year class had a 36% increase in college matriculation as compared to the class of 2025. And every graduate had a plan. So whether that was, college, workforce, military, our Pepper Elliott, who's incredible, really ensured that every student knew what they were doing post high school and had that intentional plan. We supported 233 students last year, which was 133% growth in that program's participation. And I just want to call out the, again, partnership with Pepper, the Dream Big program at the high school, all of the high school teachers. This cannot happen without all of those people working together toward this goal. So really appreciative of all the work going on at the high school. We also want to talk about our classroom grant program. It's a huge program for us since how we got started. We awarded $270,000 last year in classroom grants for educator projects. Just a few of those: Poland musical, Finding Nemo, such a fun, joyful experience for so many kids. The RC League and EV showcase that happened at our elementary schools. Music programs at Ecker and the high school are a big part of our funding. Special ed support, the Technology Student Association aquaponics project at the high school, and then Ecker Hills One Book, One School program last year were just a few of those funded. And then we also have supported CTE and PC CAP since 2012, including a significant investment of funding, $350,000 to equip the high school and Ecker CTE wings over the last 2 years. And this has been an amazing facility and space. We frequently try to take people over to see it. Parents don't get inside too often. And we also had a partnership this year with AREP Laboratories. We were able to bring them to see the space, which has led to student internships and some partnership opportunities with them, which is wonderful. So it's a great space. And then finally, we work to support wellness and honor our amazing educators. So last year we provided positive behavior intervention intervention and support funding at all of our school sites. We also funded a multi-tiered systems of support coordinator at the high school, which again focused on that 9th grade cohort. Really generous funding from the Alnova Lewis Family Foundation to make that possible. And then we also last year funded all those yonder pouches all the students love at Ecker High School. Yes, you're welcome. And one of the I think most cherished parts of our work is celebrating our educators. And so we continued our Excellent Educator Awards program. Those are peer nominated teachers at every school, and then a student nominated educator at the high school. One of our favorite days of the year to honor the work that they do. So thank you all for your partnership and your support, and we're excited for another great school year ahead.
Thank you. Thank you for the young. Thank you.
Do you want to say just for a minute and talk about the PD?
Oh, sure.
Date changes? Sounds good. So next agenda item is changing our calendar for November of 2027 and November of 2028 in the spirit of being good partners. The Ed Foundation typically hosts the Red Apple Gala. Traditionally, it's been in October, but due to constraints with availability of their site, it's been pushed into November. And to maximize the impact of that event, we would recommend that we move our PD days because their site does not have availability on certain Saturdays. They're already booked out. So we would move, November 12th, 2027 to Monday, November 1st, 2027. That would be the date after Halloween. Teachers may or may not be appreciative of that. And then November 10th, 2028, we would propose that get moved to Monday, November 6th. This allows the Ed Foundation to host their gala on a Saturday without it being backed to a Friday PD day where many of our families will leave town. So that is a decision item later on the agenda, but that's the rationale for why we're proposing that change. We've also considered this with Live Give and not hosting a PD day on that Friday. We did that by mistake last year. There's some belief that it had an impact on the giving that day, so we're trying to avoid those days so that those nonprofits can maximize their impact. Anything you want to add to that?
No, I just know how challenging calendaring is, and so we appreciate the consideration, in advance, yeah.
It still provides that weekend, or extended weekend, I should say, by scheduling it on a Monday versus a Tuesday or Wednesday, so families can extend their weekend should they so choose.
Yeah, well, we want to be good partners where we can.
Absolutely.
My good too.
You are good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ethan.
So should we go to the consent agenda? No, okay, so she's got their calendar division. So for the consent agenda, we have the regular session minutes of June 16th. This year, the closed session minutes of June 16th. The social skills curriculum adoption, travel request, the Kimball Arts Center MOU for elementary visual arts. The fraud risk assessment, the school-based mental health support contract, personnel and board review, revenue and expenditures in June and July.
Motion to approve the consent agenda as of.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Moving right along. We get monthly reports from our student on the board. We're back.
Rocking and rolling.
Rocking and
I got a
rolling.
math test already today. We're going.
It's on.
This year with the freshman first day, I think it went wonderfully. I was there speaking on a panel with some of my other student council classmates. The tours went well. I think it was great for them to be able to scope things out without all of the other kids. I heard from a couple freshmen that they liked it, even if they don't want to admit it. But that was great. This Friday, the theme for the football game is tropical, and the first 100 people there do get a special shirt. So if you're coming, that's something to look forward to. Club day is the second and the third this year. Our back to school assembly has been moved to the 9th of September instead of this week. Also hosted by Bright Futures on the 10th is their first gen student parent dinner. Unfortunately, the VACT is on the 15th for all students. Yeah. And then our homecoming football game is the 25th. The following night is the dance. We're thinking glow in the garden, night in the garden, think fairy lights by you. That was what I was told. So fun. And then the smartwatches and the phones this year, I think it's going great. Mr. Prime was telling me yesterday, he was trying to find someone to get in trouble during lunch, but there was no one. Everyone's complying.
I'm not.
He was, and he couldn't find anyone during lunch, so that's a win. And then I haven't heard one complaint about the smartwatches. I think people are kind of like, it is what it is now. And then this year we do have color-coded IDs for the freshmen. Our neon yellow, which I know the people checking the doors are loving. So they can't sneak out as well. And then it's a bummer we can't do home games on Dozier quite yet, but we are thankful to South Summit for sharing their home field with us. And then Mr. Fine was also talking to me the other day about kind of thinking about some affordable upgrades we could maybe make for those indoor sports students. So possibly maybe some team rooms, two for girls, two for boys, but that's in the early stages of them just brainstorming. But that's maybe something to think about. And then, as always, the PTO does need more people. So if there's anybody watching or the message can be spread, more volunteers are always needed. And then I also wanted to talk about our in-class meetings that we usually do. Since we're now in a semester system, is there a preference if we keep them at quarterly, maybe do trimester or move forward to semester?
I think we keep them on that quarter basis.
Okay.
And you will come.
Perfect. And then we don't have dates yet. If you have preferences, I haven't looked at the calendar yet.
Do you want to send us some recommendations?
Yeah.
Based on what you guys have scheduled during class time?
Perfect. I'll get those out next week.
Figure out who can say that. Bring it to-
How's parking?
Yes. I did talk to Mr. Fine the other day about the potential solution for next year, especially for juniors getting their parking passes. It was insane, people sleeping overnight. I got there at 4:30, but it didn't really matter because there was a stampede once the teachers showed up. So next year he is, I think, thinking about doing more of a lottery online system with a potential attendance component, but nothing to announce quite yet. The parking situation when exiting the parking lot is not the best. I don't think, there's so many students trying to leave all at once, it's going to be kind of a zoo, but something to think about, maybe there's a solution, maybe there's not, that. Yeah.
If someone was out there physically stopping traffic, to allow the buses to exit, then students, do you feel like that would help? At least in the Dozier parking lot?
I haven't parked in the Dozier parking lot yet, but I don't think there's any negatives to that.
Yeah.
Last year, you can see cars kind of trying to squeeze out and it's not.
Yeah, they're tailgating buses on the
Yeah,
curb, which is not safe.
It's not safe and it's annoying and everyone is just cutting everybody off. So I think if there was a parking monitor at the end of the day, that would be helpful. But I haven't parked there yet.
In
There's
terms of,
someone out there who can pull parking passes for different things like that.
yeah, they lose their parking privileges if they're cutting people off and driving erratically, so. What about Eccles? Cause I recognize there's 2 exits now, which adds to the congestion.
I think a parking monitor in that lot as well would be beneficial. I have early release every other day, but when I am parking and leaving with the majority of the students, it's just as crazy and I do see people turning left on that right turn only and it's busy. People are honking at each other. So I think that would be beneficial.
Thank you for that feedback.
At lunchtime, is it free at lunchtime?
Yeah.
Anna volunteered on the freshman first day as one of the, whatever, guides and she said it was really great. So not a freshman, but she thought overall.
Yeah, we've received lots of positive feedback from that freshman first day. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have
Mary.
anybody?
I'm back again. Good evening. I think most of you know me, but for those of you that don't, I'm Mary Morgan. I am now, again, the co-president, along with Jennifer Riggs, of the Park City Education Association. I teach music at Charleside and am going into my 31st year of teaching overall. Jen is a 4th grade teacher at Jeremy Ranch and has also been in Park City and a teacher for a number of years. PCA truly appreciates the collaborative relationships with all of you, and we look forward to more positive work together in the coming year. It was great to see our district office personnel in the buildings on the first day of school. Visiting the schools in person shows all staff and students that you care and that you show up. So thank you for that. The 2 teacher-directed days on Monday and Tuesday of last week were truly a gift. And we appreciate all of you for supporting that. Thank you. We also highly encourage and invite all of our board members to come and visit our schools anytime. As we come into negotiations again this year on the licensed professional agreement and salary compensation, there is one thing that we would like for you to consider as we move forward. Oftentimes, decisions are made at many levels by those who do not work in that particular job. We see that happen every day by members of the legislature making decisions on education without ever really stepping foot into a school, or better yet, working in one. So we would encourage all of us sitting in this room to substitute teach at least a few days a year. Recently, my hometown of El Paso, Texas, where I first started teaching in the El Paso Independent School District, implemented a program where all district office staff are to sub in the classroom a minimum of 8 days during the school year. I would take that even a step further and ask the board members to also come into the schools and sub. Maybe not 8 days, but maybe a few days in order to truly understand the challenges in the schools that teachers and staff face daily. Come and talk to the teachers and staff and learn the true ins and outs of what happens on a daily basis and why certain decisions are made at the site level the way that they are. We would love to see you. Thanks again for a great start to a new school year. Teachers have been preparing for students long before they were actually on contract time, and it shows. We have some of the best teachers and staff in the state, and we truly appreciate the opportunity to work together to ensure they are well cared for and fully funded to continue the absolute best education for our students.
Thanks, Mary. Yes. All right, we're back. Believe it or not, I joked with our staff during convocation that I think somebody transposed the numbers in July and there were 13 days instead of 31. It flew by, but we're back. We're excited. We're thrilled to have our kids, the hallways and classrooms built into when they're not here with us. On Friday, August 7th, we welcomed our new licensed staff, approximately 25 new teachers to the Park City School District. We spent a day at Utah Olympic Park, UOP. We took the chairlift up and gave them a glimpse of what Park City entails and embodies. So in that picture, you see all of our new staff, along with our instructional coaches, executive leadership, our principals, and other staff that supported that day. Each of our new educators gets a mentor, oftentimes their instructional coach, to ensure that they are not left to figure out things on their own. And as you well know, they get a competitive start. Our starting salaries for new teachers exceed $76,000 with a bachelor's degree and $83,000 with a master's degree. And we give them all of their years of experience, which is something unique to Park City that we started a couple of years ago. It used to be that you only got up to 7 years, and we expanded that to attract and retain high quality professionals. AP exam results. This is one piece of data that gets released in July and not in the middle of the school year. So this is the data from 2021 up until July of 2026. And you can see there's been a steady increase in the pass rate. I joked with Principal Fine when he took over for retiring Principal Arbadu that good luck. I don't know how you're gonna increase from 87 to 88%. With more kids taking an exam, because typically when more kids participate, you see a drop in the pass rate, and we did not see that. So 61% of all students in grades 9 through 12 took an AP exam in 25-26, which is an increase of 41% from school year 2021. 88% of our AP exam takers passed at least one exam in 25-26. Which was an increase from 76% in school year 2021. And then 79% of our seniors, so class of 2026 that graduated in June, passed at least one of their AP exams at some point in their high school experience. We're still awaiting our AP coursework participation That comes from USBE in September. Last year, we were at 80%. Our hope is that we will increase that percentage. You likely saw the US News and Rankings report come out last week. That data is 2 years old. So the joke is that we are going to catch Skyline. We're just 2 years away from catching them. Because they consistently are the only public high school that ranks above us. We did increase, from the number 5 spot to the number 3 spot. But we were still number 1 in Utah in terms of college readiness. So much to be celebrated there with AP and the high school. After convocation, we always send out a survey just to say, what did you like? We changed the format last year. We refined it even further this year. We did not post it on the first day back for our employees. We delayed it by 2 days to allow our staff to acclimate and also be inclusive of all staff. Some of our ESPs don't return on that first contract day back. So we waited until all of them were back, and we recognize that we only got 142 responses. We have approximately, 650 employees. The survey is still open. But so far we have received positive reception of the new format. They praised the short and sweet. We were in and out as about 45 minutes because we recognize our staff needs time. And it's very hard for them to be engaged when all they can be thinking about is the lesson plan, getting their classroom set up, getting Canvas ready for the first day of school. They also appreciated those meeting pre-preparation days. So as Mary mentioned, last Monday and Tuesday, we directed our principals to have no meetings for licensed staff. So they got 2 full work days in their classroom. And we heard lots of positive feedback that I don't know why I feel less stressed. I don't feel like I have to work this weekend because I'm prepared not only for the first day of school, but next week as well. So those were well received. There were some logistical concerns. The high school had scheduled senior parking passes as well as laptop distribution on the same day as convocation. So that created some congestion on Kearns Boulevard as if we didn't already have enough in the morning. So we will pay attention to that. Many appreciate the celebration of staff, but there was a suggestion that we recognize those staff that are starting their 30th year, because it's highly likely they may retire at the conclusion of that year, and then they wouldn't be recognized that following school year. We did shift to a new training platform for all of policy review and all the state and district mandated training. It is called Vector. We have had some growing pains, but we have gotten the coursework down to about 11.5 hours for our staff to complete that. They have until September 30th to do so. Our goal for next year is to get that to 8 hours while also providing a test out option if they are proficient with the content that they are to be trained on. Honoring years of service. So these are our different groups of staff. So we had 5 years of service, 10 years of service, and 20 years of service. And then believe it or not, we had 3 staff members. And the way in which we recognize this, it has to be consecutive years of service in the Park City School District. So George Murphy, who was assistant principal at the high school, Laura Rude, who's a librarian at Eckerd Hill, and then Amy Wallace, who serves as our DLI and world language specialist. All 3 of them have served 30 years of consecutive service here in Park City School District. So we recognize them on stage during convocation. Again, we talked about the US News and World Report. We were up 2 spots from 5 to 3, second highest ranked traditional public high school. And the ranking reflects strong AP participation and pass rates alongside our graduation and college readiness data. Enrollment numbers. So this was as of today, because they fluctuate and they change based on kids showing up, kids not showing up. So we currently sit at 4,177. That is preschool to 12th grade. We're down approximately 87 students from this time last year, recognizing that we will do our warm body count on October 1. And that's the number we will report out on. So you can see by school, we have 1538 at Park City High School, 944 at Eckerd Hill, 394 at Poland, 382 at Jeremy, Trailside's 348, and Farley's Park is 358. And at the bottom, you can see our preschool numbers. To speak specifically to open enrollment, we had 365 applications. We approved 197, 20 declined, and as of today, a handful just haven't shown up yet. We do recognize some of our families won't show up until after Labor Day. That's why this number is constantly changing. When you look at our enrollment, K-12, we have 234 kindergartners, but we have 390 seniors. So that bubble still exists in our secondary schools. All of our secondary grades are 300 plus. And we have seen some larger class sizes in our secondary core classes. We're keeping a close eye on those in the event we do need to split some of those sections. We've held back some of our FTE just for those unforeseen enrollments that we sometimes can't plan for. And around the district, this was the first day of school, so we took the whole executive leadership team. Yes, we made Randy chauffeur us all around to every single school site. We visited classrooms, we interacted with kids, we met with staff, we met with principals. You can see Principal Fine on stage, that's the freshman first, so that's all of our freshmen and the Eccles getting their first introduction to the high school. You can see some of our preschool rooms, some of our. Yes. So each one of our preschoolers, we told folks, you have to get a picture of him.
Dinosaur on his shirt.
Yes.
He's so dapper.
See some of our Jeremy Ranch teachers there down in the corner. They did something to their pants with their name on it, a design. But it's a lot of fun to go and visit all the sites and just be inside of the schools with our kids on that first day. And then here is our theme. You likely read this in our welcome back letter to families. We started with one PC last year. We will continue with one PC. Together, we're on one path, building one community. We know that inherently we are better together. Delivering one standard of elite instruction. Every kid deserves our very best every single day. I explained to our staff, you cannot pour into our students from an empty cup. So you must first take care of yourself to ensure your very best when you're in front of our kids. And then moving at one pace that allows us to thrive for the long haul. We need to set a rhythm that we can sustain and move with intention throughout the school year. So that's a brief high-level overview as the start of 26-27 school years underway. Yay. Questions?
How do I make my 10th grader not take project?
Let them parent release.
All right, well, thank you.
Do it.
I know, but okay, so next up, we have our decision item for the calendar revision that Lindsay went over with us earlier in the meeting. So this, the board could make the decision to adjust this professional development days in 2027 and 2028, with the new dates being on November 1st and 27 and November 6th.
So you need a motion.
I will make a motion to approve the said calendar revision.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Or any discussion, is there any discussion? We're all in favor, yes.
Thank you.
Okay,
In the recommendation.
great. And next up, we have policies for posting the following. Excuse me, the following policies have been reviewed by the policy committee and are now before the board for posting. Policy 5001, school safety personnel and guardian protocols, and policy 5002, classroom safety and emergency alert technology.
I will make a motion to approve said policies for posting.
Second. Any discussion? No. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Okay, next up, we've got policies for adoption. The following policies have been posted for the required 20 days and they are now before the board for adoption. We have policy 9110, acceptable use, policy 9046, competitive sports clubs, policy 10046, cell phones, policy 11000, FERPA, And policy 11006, student privacy, which is a new policy.
I will make a motion to move said policies for adoption.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Okay. We've. 6 o'clock, just about, all right, well, thanks everyone for your participation in our meeting today, and we will now adjourn. Oh, wait, we will get a motion.
Yes, I will make a motion to adjourn to that next strictly scheduled meeting. September
15.
15th.
But something else is, oh, PCTs are on September 15th. Yeah.
I'll be here, don't worry.
Made a motion, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.